Hey guys, so today we have a video about Molly Rutter, who I haven't spoken about in ever. That's actually what I was going to say. So subscribe, hit the bell icon for engagement. Let's just get into it. Now there's a lot of lore to Molly Rutter, and there's like some recent stuff, and that's why I'm doing this whole comprehensive video, but you guys might know who she is. I didn't before I looked into this video and people tagged me in her content. I did ask a few videos ago if you guys had anything that you wanted me to cover on TikTok. You could just tag me in it on TikTok and I'll do the video, or you can send it to me in DMs. Typically Instagram and TikTok is where you can find me, and people tagged me in her, so I had to do a little deep dive into everything else. And the spark notes is she is a 30-something-year-old woman. Let me actually, Molly Rutter age, she's 32, or at least was 7 months ago according to Reddit. So yeah, she's in her 30s, and apparently she does go on dates and review essentially her dates and talk about her dating experience as a 30-something-year-old woman, but she typically goes for guys that she knows won't be good for her, but goes on those dates anyway, is my conclusion that I've come to. She goes for really young guys, like in their 20s, and then complains about X, Y, and Z, okay? And then she did like a bit of a mishap on Halloween, and then has had a bit of a, what people are calling a crash out since the election, and has been saying just wild stuff. And then she also has a podcast that she says a lot of crazy stuff on. So anyway, let's go through her dating first. Actually, this is Molly Rutter's page. She's 184,000 followers, and this is her. And yeah, she just goes on dates and then like reviews it and kind of vlogs it, like get ready with me for the date, and then she'll film like going on the date, and then if she goes to the bathroom she might film a little update on like how the date's going and that kind of a thing. So this is a video that I saved of a date.
First date in like a month. Guys, I feel really cute tonight. I'm excited to meet this guy. So he's from India. He goes to university in Buffalo. It's his first time in the States ever. And he's studying AI. How cool is that? So maybe he's a smarty patootie. We spoke on the phone before we met, and we had a cute conversation. He sounds really cute on the phone. He was actually the one who initiated speaking on the phone. He said he wanted to do it to get a vibe check. And so I asked him on the phone, I was like, did I pass the vibe check? And he's like, oh my God, definitely. And he's like, did I pass it? And I was like, yeah. So hopefully this is good. I have a good feeling. So yeah, I have a good feeling about this date. I don't exactly know why. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's my mood or what, but fingers crossed. We're going to one of my favorite spots in Buffalo. I'm excited to show him because he's still like learning Buffalo. He's new here, so I like introducing places I love. Okay, I'm almost there. Wish me luck. He's adorable, like absolutely adorable. Like I want to squeeze him. He's so cute. He's definitely like shy and nervous, which is actually really endearing. Big fan, big fan. Vibes are so good. We already talked about meeting up for another date. I'm a little bummed he doesn't want to go to a second location with me, but he does have classes in the morning, so I don't fully blame him. So I think after this, to celebrate a good date, I'm gonna go meet up with my friend.
And then it obviously said on screen that he's actually coming to the second location after her date. But this is typically how her date vlogs go, so this is kind of like a good example of that. But I know this one kind of turned sour, and then people had a lot of issues with it. But this is one of her most viewed ones. It's like a 3-part dating review. And then yeah, she said we're gonna need a story time for this one in the caption. Oh,
this date ended terribly. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. It was so bad in the end.
People loved this content at first, but they loved to hate it more. Someone said, low-key, if I found out someone was vlogging our date, I'd probably ghost them. Me too. Like, I think the issues with creating your content around being single and dating is you have to talk about it a lot. And if I saw that someone made content around dating, I wouldn't date them because I don't want to hear about my own date on TikTok. Someone said first date in like a month. How many dates do people usually have in a month? Just curious. And the thing is, she is on 180,000 followers on TikTok, which is a lot for TikTok, but not a lot in the grand scheme of things. And she did quit her day job. She was an elementary school teacher. And people said that that is the downfall of it all, because now she feels the need to not only go on a lot of dates, but she also feels the need to go on dates that she kind of has a feeling will be unsuccessful. Like if you're actually single and dating, you're going to go on dates that you think might actually go well or go somewhere. Whereas she's more enticed, I guess, at this point to go on dates that she knows won't work out rather than the dates that she thinks will work out, because that makes for a more interesting story. And people just think like it creates a cycle of constantly trying to chase that high of what's the craziest date that I can go on, right? Someone said the people who revolve their lives around dating and finding the one need to love themselves more and just chill. Girl, you find everyone you date adorable. Oh, brother. Someone said she's improving. She didn't bring the dogs. Usually she brings her dogs to the dates, which I don't mind, but I just think people have this weird obsession with bringing their dogs everywhere. I think it's completely fine. I do it too. I bring my dog to places, okay? But I just think going on a first date with dogs typically to a really loud bar sounds like the most chaotic, I would lose my mind and I would probably leave halfway through the date because it feels so overstimulating, you know what I mean? Someone said, Molly, how does it change from he's so adorable to it ended terribly, I need the story time now queen? So some people are really into this, some people just have an issue with it. Some people love to hate her.
Ready for a dating recap? This one's a doozy. Sorry, the lighting in my apartment is crazy right now because it's golden hour. I got the tripod out for this one, so I'm gonna have to make my arm tired. Met up with this guy at one of my favorite bar restaurants in Buffalo. He's new to Buffalo, as I mentioned in the video. He's from India, he goes to school here. He literally just moved to Buffalo a month ago. And I was really excited for this date because I love meeting people from other countries. I honestly picture myself ending up with someone who's not from the same place I'm from. I just think meeting people from different cultures, you automatically have so much you can talk about. And I think it's really fun. And I really wanted to hear about his Buffalo experience so far. You know, I was really looking forward to it. And it started off really well. We had 2 drinks, we're having a good conversation. I thought he was so stinking cute, I wanted to eat him. The cuteness aggression was so real. I thought this man was adorable. He was admittedly...
I don't know what people look for in relationships, and cute is definitely cute, but this sounds like she's like infantilizing him. Like, what a cute, adorable child. Cuteness aggression is like what you get when you see a baby or a child. I don't know. This just sounded very like infantilizing. Like he was this cutie patootie little woody, you know? And on a first date, I think that's maybe it's a yellow flag.
Nervous, and I could tell. But I honestly thought that that was pretty endearing. It made me like him more. He gave me a lot of compliments throughout the date about how confident I am and how he admires that about me, which was really sweet. At the second drink, I'm having such a good time that I really wanted to go to a second location with this man. So I asked him if he wanted to go somewhere else with me, to one of the other places that I suggested. And he gets kind of weird, and he's like saying that this is probably going to be his last drink because he has classes the next day. And I was like, oh, I totally understand that, no problem. So then I text my friend and ask her to meet up with me at the second location I wanted to go to. So she's getting ready. I tell her we're finishing up our last drink and then I'll come meet you. Him and I relocate inside and we sit down at a booth, and he asked me to sit next to him at the booth, which I thought was really cute. So we're sitting next to each other, we're talking really closely. He's telling me about how he really wanted to kiss me when we were outside, but he wasn't sure if that's what I wanted. And I was like, that's so funny you said that because I was thinking about kissing you outside. We're talking super close and I'm like, do you think it's okay if we kiss in here? And he's like, I mean, if it's okay with you. Like, and then I was like, yeah, you can kiss me. And so we kissed and it was really sweet and I was loving it. And then mid-kiss, he grabs me. Oh, I didn't realize that we're triggering a trauma response out of me tonight. Ooh, that's fun. That's plot twist I didn't see coming. Ooh, yay. Awesome. That's some good old-fashioned trauma response, Bo, on a date. It's what we love. We love that. And so I was really honest with him about how inappropriate that was, considering we were in a public space. And then he was extremely apologetic. Like, this guy was mortified, honestly. He proceeds to tell me about how the most recent girl he went out with is from Spain, and how when they were making out, she said to him, why aren't you touching my... And so I guess homeboy interpreted that as that's what every girl wants.
The story is crazy. I mean, arguably weird thing to do on a first date with someone. And like the fact that he was like, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to kiss you, and like everything seems so like gentlemanly, and then he just like, you know, it's crazy. And I'm not saying like, wow, this was like an overreaction from her. But there is one thing I do want to acknowledge, is that she calls all the guys that she goes on dates with homeboys. And I think it's very strange. It's a very American thing, but I don't think all Americans do that.
Do when you're making out with her in public? Interesting. Interesting take on that one. So I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, every girl's different. And most women have experienced some form of assault and trauma. And so, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I told him that I actually find it really attractive when a man asks permission to do something. Like I said, like when you asked to kiss me, I thought that was super attractive. I loved that. I was like, lean into that. Lean on the side of caution. Ask people before you do something like that. Also, I said a pretty good rule of thumb is that touching someone in that way is reserved for the privacy of your own bedroom, not while you're out in public at a restaurant. And he was like, oh my God, you're so right. I'm so sorry. I can really tell he was really upset. So we end up getting a third drink. I think it was because he just felt so bad. And we go back outside and we're talking more. And the next part, Bo, I think so many women are going to be able to relate to this. I started feeling bad for him because I am who I am and how much empathy I have. I was really understanding of his point of view, and I started consoling him and reassuring him that he's not a bad person, that we make mistakes sometimes in life, and it's important how he responded, and he responded with understanding and respect and kindness, and I said, as long as you don't do it again, it's okay. I literally forgave this man. So then I tell him I have to finish this third drink pretty fast because my friend's already at the other location to meet me. And he asked me why I invited my friend. He's like, did you expect the date to not go well? Were you trying to like get out of the date or something? And I was like, no, actually, I just invited her out because you said you didn't want to get more drinks with me and I wanted to stay out. He's like, oh no, like I would have been totally fine drinking with you more. I just didn't want to go to a second location. And I'm like, why? And he says that it's because he's new to Buffalo, he's nervous about trying new things, that he hasn't had a good experience starting off in Buffalo, and so he's a bit anxious about going to new places. And I was like, I totally get that. I was like, but she's already there, so I'm gonna meet her. I was like, you're more than welcome to come. I can assure you that it's a very chill, casual place. It's not gonna be crowded. My friend's awesome. She's also lived all over the world, so I think she would be someone that you would feel really comfortable talking to, actually. So he ends up being convinced to come to the next place with me. So we get an Uber, we get there, we order drinks, we're sitting with my friend outside, and we did have good conversation. I will say that he was interrupting the both of us quite a bit, and I didn't like that, but again, since I'm so understanding, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, I played that for a bit and let it play out. Did he start off on a bit of a rocky foot with what he did? Sure. To then go into, I'm just such an empath that I started like telling him unprovoked that he's like a good guy, and like that's kind of on you, but understand she might felt, what's the thing? There's like fight, flight, and fawn, right? And fawn is like you try and get the person to feel good and so that they don't attack you further, right? That's typically in like a true crime sense, sadly, but like, you know, that all adds up. But then she just continued to invite him to other spots. So clearly she was completely fine with him. And then it's like the whole like, since I'm so understanding and blah blah, and like he was interrupting us a lot. I don't know, this is just so nitpicky. Even though like he started off on a rocky foot, this is just so nitpicky. And I would hate to go on a date and just have this person vlog essentially the whole thing.
Because I was like, English is not his native language. I can tell he's nervous, and I feel like he just wants to contribute to the conversation, and so I don't think he's trying to interrupt us.
Also, I think like he's 3 drinks in and so are you. I think like after a few drinks, there is no structure of conversation happening anymore. It just flows. People just talk and yap and chat. And yeah, I would just hate to be so hyper analyzed after a date, mainly when you're drinking.
Rude way. I think he just like wants to be in the conversation with us. Him and I are being cute next to each other, like, you know, hands on our thighs and stuff like that. And then God, Bo. And then
okay, so a little bit of a cliffhanger. Marketing queen. This is how a 28-year-old acted. So she's 32, he was 28. The way you kept saying second location makes it sound like a kidnapping. Yeah. You end up consoling him. Oh girl, let's stop dating for a bit. What the? He was not mortified. He was mortified that you stopped him. Fair enough. Yeah, I think so. Though he was so respectful to ask to kiss you, but then did that without permission. What in the actual heck is going on? Yeah, I do think it's weird because I think if someone like just from the get-go is like all over you, then that's the tone that they're setting. But just the fact that he was so like, well, I didn't know if I was allowed to kiss you, and then just like went straight in, that's very strange. But it's just the rest of it, like at that point she should have just cut it off and not invited him out with her friend. But I guess she felt bad and maybe she still liked him, I don't know. Someone said, I'm from Spain, that's not normal. Babe, not you subconsciously justifying every red flag. Then we have part 3 of the story time.
There's this girl who comes outside and she's clearly looking for something. And I'm like, can I help you find something? And she's like, actually, I'm looking for my phone. And I was like, oh, do you want me to call it and see if you can hear it? And she's like, that would be so helpful, thank you. So I give her my phone, she dials it, we don't hear her phone anywhere. She gives me my phone back, gets in the car with the person she was with and leaves. Homeboy decides to essentially scold me and criticize me for giving my phone to a stranger. He's telling me how dangerous that is, how someone could just steal it, how he doesn't trust people and he really cares about protecting people that he cares about. Basically just telling me how risky it is what I did and like not to do that. And I look at him and I'm like, I'm very capable of assessing danger in a situation. I could tell she wasn't going to do anything with my phone.
Like you did invite him to a second location after the first location went really poorly. Are you capable of assessing danger? Is he like telling on himself? It's like, hey, by the way, I did touch you inappropriately and then you invited me on drinks with your friend. No, 2 drinks with your friend afterwards. The red flags were just being ignored left, right, and center. And this is not me mocking her, but right.
I felt completely fine giving it to her. But he keeps talking about it. He keeps going. He's like definitely mansplaining at this point. And then I'm getting mad because I'm like, you're not respecting my ability as an adult human being to make my own decisions about my own safety. And I
don't know why, and I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I'm being super nitpicky. I hate people that talk in like buzzwords. Maybe it was mansplaining to, like, I don't know. I just think it sounds a lot like buzzwords and it means nothing. I understand what she's saying. I just hate the like buzzwords because I feel like they've been so overused. It's like when people say like gaslight or something. Obviously it has a valid definition and it can be used in certain contexts, but it's just when it gets overused, you start like when you hear it in a story time, you just go like your brain just
God bless her. She was even saying to him, again, showing understanding and empathy. She's like, I totally understand why you feel that way. You're living in a foreign country. You just moved here. It can totally make sense why you wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. But Molly, this is her hometown. She probably has a different level of comfort with this sort of thing here than you do. And she's so right. Like, I've had my phone stolen on the metro in Istanbul. In Istanbul once I was out with friends and my friend's phone literally got stolen from the table. I've had my fair share of experiences abroad. And would I have felt as comfortable giving my phone to a random stranger in Turkey? Probably not. But in my hometown, just helping a girl out, and at the end of the day, even if what I did was risky, just the extent he was going through to explain this to me was really rubbing me the wrong way. And if I had already been trauma triggered earlier in the night, now it was even more, because now we're entering territory of a man telling me what to do, hiding behind the facade of being a knight in shining armor, of protecting the people around him. Don't tell me what to do. Respect my autonomy and maturity as a human being to make my own decisions. Okay? You're not my father. You don't need to take care of me. I am fine. It is fine. Everything is fine. Please stop talking to me about it. That tone of voice did come out in the end, where like I was really controlling myself because I was super mad. And I remember I was looking at him and I was doing that thing where when you're so angry, you talk in like a slow, calm voice. I remember I said to him, I am a strong, independent woman who has traveled all over the world. I am completely capable of assessing the safety of a situation like that. Please do not tell me what to do and respect my own decision making for my own life. That's essentially what I told him. And he was like, no, you're absolutely right. I totally get that. I've learned so much from you tonight. Like, you obviously were such a good teacher because you taught me so much.
Saying, like, you're such a good teacher and I learned so much from you on your first date. I mean, they're both just, like, what is this date? What is going on? See, this is, like, why I'm showing this story time. It's a most popular story time. If you click on a TikTok, you go to popular videos, this is a most popular story time that she has. And people have very mixed opinions on it. I don't think he was a great date at all. And I also don't think that she's a great date half the time. And I also think that she struggles with discerning when to leave a date. Like, I think she should have left after the first time she was made uncomfortable, and then it just kind of kept on going, and people are like, see, it's just, and then people wonder, does she stay on those dates to have more to talk about, or does she stay on those dates because she really struggles to figure out like how to leave in a comfortable manner, or like when to leave, or like people are just very confused as to why she stays / goes on these dates that she knows aren't great and won't be great. Because there's another story time where she went on a date with a guy. I think I have it saved. Hold that thought.
About confidence. So now I'm getting the ick. Like, now my skin is starting to crawl. I'm like, I am not your mommy. I'm not your teacher. I am on this date with you to find connection, to ultimately find a partner. Okay? Instantly I was like, this is never gonna work. Like, never, never, ever, ever, ever. And then the icing on the cake is he says, you've taught me how to be a better man. Oh, have I? Oh, have I? How nice. Isn't that so nice, Bo? I taught him how to be a better man. I didn't realize that was my responsibility that night. A man who crossed my physical boundaries and touched me inappropriately at a public place.
But then she says that, and then she, like, continued to go on a date with him. So it's like, it wasn't an issue until later that he touched her. It's like he touched her, and then she had an issue with it, but then she didn't, and she invited him further, and then she had an issue back with it. It's like she's bringing it back because now he's giving her the ick. Now, like, that's a problem, but then you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a strange story time to tell because she ignored so many red flags until, like, the last red flag, and then she went, oh, and all these other red flags as well. I don't know, it's a very strange story time to tell.
I taught him how to be a better man. Isn't that so nice? He's so for real. When he said that, I instantly looked at my friend. I said, yeah, we're gonna go. If that's not bad enough, he puts his hand on my back. And he's like, is it okay if I touch you here? And I look at him, I'm like, look, I expect you to be able to discern the difference between touching someone's back and touching someone's in a public space.
Yes, absolutely. The thing is, I don't even want it to come across like I'm saying what he did was fine. It absolutely wasn't, but you should have just left. And when you didn't, or you didn't feel safe to leave, you should have left, like, between location 1 and 2, because he did say he wasn't going to go out with you, so you should have just said, great, I'm getting home, and left. Okay, but she invited him further. Right, so at that point, I'm just like, you traveled from location 1 to location 2 with this man, okay? And when the first incident happened, you said to him, I'd rather you, like, edge on the, no, I'd rather you, what's the saying? Something caution. Basically, she was like, be cautious, right? If you're not sure, just ask. And now he's doing that, and she has a problem with it again. You just don't like this man. And that's fine, because he seems like a walking red flag. You don't like this man. Just leave it. Just leave it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just leave it. You didn't like this man from the get-go because he touched you inappropriately. Just go home. Just leave it.
Is this person a child? We get up to leave, okay? And he goes, can I kiss you? What? What?
I'm just confused what she's confused about. When he asked her the first time, can I kiss you? She said she found that really attractive. Then he touched inappropriately. She said, better be safe than sorry. Ask next time. And now he's asking, and she's angry that he's asking. And once again, I don't want it to sound like I'm on this man's side. I think he sucks. He wasn't a great date. But, like, you're also kind of confusing him at this point. What is going on?
No, that did not just come out of his actual childish mouth. No way. I look at him, I'm like, no, you can't. Me and my friend leave, and we just had like a girl powwow the rest of the night venting about this man. Because there's so much to digest here. Oh, I'm getting a little emotional now thinking about it. I was like going at this with a lot of humor at first and how funny this whole thing is. But actually, it's just so upsetting that a man does something inappropriate, clearly socially inept, okay? He's clearly socially inept, incapable of gauging what is right and wrong on his own without the direct instruction of a woman. He hides behind the fact that he's this logical person and takes things literally, where he asked me, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do that? How unattractive is that? Like, you took my advice to, like, ask permission to do something as you literally asking me, can I touch you here? Can I touch you there? I am so grateful that I never saw this man in the privacy of, like, a home. Can you imagine if things progressed?
Okay. I think everyone should just stay safe when you date. Always be safe. Meet in a public location. If they touch you inappropriately, leave. But also don't send mixed signals like this. This is crazy. And like, once again, what he did was messed up. She said, hey, do this instead. And he does that instead. And then she gets really angry. I'm just so confused. So I said, this feels like a 90 Day Fiancé episode. Why do I feel sorry for him? You're an amazing storyteller. I think you're taking this out of proportion. I think there's a combo of cultural differences and language barrier with a sprinkle of toxic masculinity for sure. And that's 41,000 likes. I think I agree with everything in this comment. At some point I thought you were going to say he had the strangest phone. I think you overreacted a bit. I was explaining something totally worse. I understand some boundaries were crossed and they were corrected and explained, but honestly I don't understand what the huge problem was. I don't know, I think a lot of this was cultural differences. I wasted so much time wasting all of it. I wasted too much time watching all of this. I'm confused because you told him to ask permission, then got mad that he asked permission. Yeah, so obviously this is her biggest story time and it caused a lot of division. I'm verging on the side of she sucks at dating, but this man was awful. That's what I think. Anyway, then we have this story time.
All right, so I have a date tomorrow, and I'm pretty damn excited for it, not gonna lie. This is the guy that I almost went out with on last Sunday, but he canceled because he was having a hell of a week at work. And I have to say, even though we called off that date, he told me he was gonna make it up to me, and he also said that we could text in the meantime. And I was very pleasantly surprised to hear that, because remember I was complaining about this guy saying that his texting was like really boring, where I just felt like I was asking him questions and his responses were really short and he wasn't asking much about me. And so when he said he wanted to text in the meantime before our next date, I was like, oh, I'm happy to hear that, because I got the impression from you that you might not be a big texter. And he's like, no, I'm a yapper. He's like, I just had a hell of a week at work, and that's why I was being shorter than normal. And I have to say, he's a self-proclaimed yapper, and he lived up to it. Like, we've been texting every single day. The majority of the time, he texts me first. And the conversation has been really flirty, really fun. We have some, like...
Once again, I'm going to repeat myself. If I was dating someone, or just talking to them, talking stages, and I was seeing this many updates about my dating style in someone's TikTok, like, he texted me first. Like, I think there's such a difference between just telling vague stories and full-on, like, word-by-word updates on how someone is texting.
We banter going back and forth. What else about this guy? He likes whiskey, he has a dog, he's lived in multiple different areas of the United States, which is something that I definitely really like. I would say the only yellow flag about him currently is that since the majority of our texting has been flirty, there were a few things he said that made me wonder, is he just looking for a hookup? And so I directly asked him about it. And I told him that, full disclosure, I'm not looking for anything casual right now. So if you're just looking to hook up, I don't think that's something that I would be interested in. And he sounds like he's very much on the same page as me. He said that he wasn't trying to come across that way, that he just likes being flirty and playful and thinks that that's an important aspect of a connection, but that he said in order for things to progress further and to be intimate with someone, he does want a real connection. And he said that he would prefer to have a long-term partnership. But because he did just move to this area, he also, for his job, he says will be here for at least a year, maybe longer. He's open to something short term, just because he knows that some people may not be interested in a person who is living here but then might be leaving. But again, the reason it's a yellow flag is because I'm not naive to the fact that people can talk the talk, but can they walk the walk? Like, right now he's saying all the right things, but I think the way he acts in person and his actions and behavior in that way will be much more telling. I think I'll be able to get a vibe from him. I would say I'm just really hoping that, for one, we have just as much chemistry in person as we do via text. And we've also done a lot of voice messages too. But then I'm also just hoping that we have a deeper, more human connection too, because you know, we've talked about some serious things via text, but it's been mostly surface level stuff, you know? And so I'm interested to see how that dynamic's gonna be in person. Also, he offered to pick me up. Oh, this was another green flag. We were texting, I think, yesterday, and I was like, do you want to chat about the plan for this weekend? And he had clearly already thought about it. He was like, I'm thinking I'll come at this time, and then I can hang out with you for the day. And
I think this is just a lot of detail to say about someone that you're actively currently seeing. Because if I saw this, I would never talk to you again. You just get blocked. Everything you say ends in a question. He likes whiskey as a dog. Yes, vital information when choosing a potential partner. I just wish I could see his face when he scrolls to this. Lol, girl, this is way too much pressure for the first date. Just go with the flow and have a good time. Everything else will come after. Gosh, I don't miss dating at all. True. Do you guys ever consider that the person will see these videos and be horrified by someone they don't know telling the internet about them? People have also been mentioning how she catfishes in her dating profiles. I personally don't think she does from the ones I've seen, but everyone looks amazing in pictures. You know, someone said, have you updated your dating app pics? I do, because I fluctuate in appearance and it's so important for both parties to be transparent, especially in the beginning stages. And she says, the only person who needs to be concerned about this is me and my date. Someone said, girl, we are tired. There's a sleeping supplement on TikTok shop I can recommend. Yeah, so obviously there's that. Then we have this. These are all her like top viewed dates.
all right, let's go to this date, shall we? I'm not gonna lie. It's a 40-minute walk to where we're meeting. And I've only been walking maybe 3 minutes and I'm already sweating profusely. I brought my portable fan. I meant to pack some tissues to like dab my sweat off when I get there, but I forgot. And I'm running about 30 minutes late. So not the best start, I have to say. Kind of struggling.
30 minutes late is a bit of a push for a first date. Like, not a great way to start.
But he was nice about it. Like, I did warn him in advance that I was running late. It happened because I made myself a bagel and I burned the bagel. And so then I had to make the bagel again, and that's what made me run late. And he was like, no worries, take your time. So
I would rather you lie to me. Because if someone said, I'm running late to the date because I made myself a bagel and I burnt it and then had to make another bagel, I'd just be like, right, let's just call it a day then. Don't come to the date then.
And then I started walking my dogs and realized that I forgot my poop bags. I just wish the street I had to walk down was more shaded. I think that's my biggest issue. It's like, you can see like a little bit of shade and then long patches of sun. And that's when I really get sweaty. Oh, look how beautiful today looks though. There's not a cloud in the sky. My makeup has already come off. Like, this makes me sad. Oh my God. Okay, I'm just not gonna look at myself till I get like almost there and then I'll fix myself. Go get some water. Lots of water for you, bubs. Other water. Halfway there, like 20 minutes to go.
Oh, you're being good boys.
But I see walking down the street.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Say thank you.
Okay, I got myself a water. I'm almost there. I brought my fan. I'm gonna try to dry myself off before I get there. Like, I don't have a problem with the walking, actually. The walking feels great. It's just the fact that I sweat so much on my face. Like, that's the worst part. Trying to dry. See, my eyebrows already coming off. Not feel cute anymore. Help.
And grabbed a juice on the way and popped into a shop. Like, you're already 30 minutes late, girlie. Like, did you know if you have 30 minutes? 30.
Very solid second date, I have to say. We walked all around Delaware Park. We went and got smoothies and just talked.
Oh, that was on the date. Stupid me. Fair enough. I take it back, Molly. I take it back.
He had to leave at 6:30 to go meet up with friends. Him and I had a good conversation about the whole TikTok thing. He feels comfortable with the original date video that I talked about. He just feels like he doesn't want to like be on camera necessarily, which I would never do without someone's permission anyways, but and he doesn't mind if people like know his identity necessarily, but as long as it's like generally positive. And like, I told him that mostly my content is about my reaction to things. It's not like I described to him how I didn't reveal what his job was and, you know, all these other things. So he didn't do the fire spitting this time though. We didn't have time. Maybe next time. But Bubba and Bo really like him. Like, he's just a very calm energy.
Right, so this one has 118,000 likes. Leave the dogs at home. Yeah. I don't think it's helping. But you're 30 minutes late and stopping at a convenience store. I don't understand any of your choices. Every issue seems avoidable. Running 30 minutes late and then opting for a 40-minute walk is crazy. So we had plans to meet at 4, which means I'd have to leave my house by 3:20 to get there on time. Said I left my house at like 3:45. Yeah, okay, but like that context didn't help with anything. Yeah, like as we said, you were late. Late by bagel. Babe, what are we doing? Just Uber, girl. Yeah, exactly. Going to a date sweaty is crazy. I know. And people can control that, but you can do a lot to avoid it. Going to a date sweaty is crazy. I just read that. A 40-minute walk to a date. Are we desperate, babe? He said take your time, and girl, you did. Yeah, and then we have the last one is this one, where she got ghosted and stood up, and she actually deleted this one, and I was struggling to find it, but this is what I was talking about. This is the start of it.
In Buffalo, homeboy is gonna help me do my taxes, and he ghosted. I'm 32 years old and he was 23.
Wait, let me get this straight. You decided to go on a first date with a 23-year-old. A 23-year-old as a 32-year-old and decided to do your taxes. Desperado. I'm sorry. I have to be like blunt here. This is giving desperate. First of all, as a 32-year-old.
So yeah, she was 32, he was 23. He was like a finance bro, she said, but like finance bro in what sense? He literally just left uni. So not a finance bro. And then she was like, he's gonna help me do my taxes. So you'd have to give them your security number for that. Girly, slow down. And then he ended up ghosting her essentially, which I would too. She was like documenting the whole thing of him like ghosting her and then making more plans with her and then ghosting her again and then standing her up. And she took her dogs to the date again. It was in a bar. Yeah, someone said he's a finance bro. What do you mean he just graduated? She was also really pushy and weird concerning their texts. Taxes, dogs, and her friend coming along nitpicking him like, ma'am, that's a lot for a first date. I'd ghost too. She also clearly did not get a sense of humor because they are in two different generations. Yeah, I think it was the one where he called her like love or babe or something, and she got really, really upset about that. Yeah, and she was willing to let him have access to all of that, but him calling her love in a text was too much, too fast. Yeah, I think he got the ick. There was like a conversation before where she was basically like, don't call me love, it's too much, and he was like, okay, and then just didn't show up for the date. So that's that. Okay, then we have fake abuse. She did a Halloween video, which was this one.
Doing my makeup for a date. Can you believe? I know most of my followers, I don't need to remind you of this. Look, I'm completely aware that this is my job now. I'm completely aware also that my dating content is the stuff that goes most viral. But the thing is, I'm dating for genuine reasons, okay? I don't go on dates constantly. So yeah, basically, I go on dates when I go on dates, all right?
So that whole explanation, great. And then let's actually jump to the date.
Let's get dressed. You're gonna hate it. Okay, here's the fit. So many people told me not to wear this, but I just don't care. I feel so cute. I feel comfy and sexy. Like, I'm sorry. Are you going to tell me that this doesn't look cute? Are you going to try to tell me that? I feel so confident. I feel like Beyonce, standing in front of my air conditioner waiting for my Uber. Wait. It's a scary state of my life.
Okay, so the way that ends, obviously it's supposed to look like he like beat her up. There's bruises on her face. There's a police car, like lights in the background. Yeah, so this was deleted, obviously for obvious reason. And then here's the follow-up that she did. So she left on a cliffhanger. So this is the follow-up that she did, and apparently it took a few days for a follow-up.
Here's the highly anticipated recap of my date from hell. Literally the scariest date I have ever gone on in my life. So this man surprised me with a private tour of Fright World, which is one of the biggest haunted houses in the country, actually. And I feel really lucky that we have this in Western New York. I've been going to this every year since I was like a little kid. I feel like I've always loved Fright World. And so I thought it was such a cool experience that we got to go through it privately. And I feel like haunted houses are the perfect date night because you get to play all damsel in distress and hang on to them for dear life. It's just like intimate and flirty and fun, and just the adrenaline rush you get from being scared out of your mind the entire time. Like, I just had an absolute blast. And then my zombie boyfriend, he took me to get my makeup done by their makeup artist, and I got to match him with the zombie attire, so we were a cute little undead couple. Sorry to scare you.
Yeah. So that, and it was a paid collab with that haunted house, so she was paid to promote them and use like abuse on a date to do that. And then she like did a follow-up video basically saying, I understand why this was a bad choice, but didn't actually ever really say like, I'm so sorry about this, guys, like this was bad. She was just kind of like, I understand that you guys were worried about me, my bad. Okay, so then we have podcast drama. I'm not gonna go too much into that, but she apparently overshares massively on her podcast, including saying that she showed her vagina to a stranger in a bathroom, like a woman stranger in a bathroom, because she thought her vagina was weird. That's the kind of stuff that she talks about on her podcast. So there's that. And then we have election drama. She posted, no lie, 20 to 30 videos in a row about the election. The election came out. No, it didn't. The election happened. And it went one way for sure. And half the country is happy about it, or just over half. And just under half is not happy about it. She's basically saying that she won't be dating anymore because of the election, and that she's stocking up on plan Bs, and that she should have known more about politics, but now she's like hyperfixating on politics, and people are calling it a crash out because literally her whole page now is talking about politics and how she doesn't want to talk about anything else, doesn't want to like think about anything else, which valid, bit late though. So all of these are her talking about like politics, but as if this is the first she's ever heard of politics. But there's something that happens, so you just wait for that. So this is the first video that she posted regarding politics.
All right, do you want an update on how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, what I'm doing? So I would first and foremost say that pretty much my entire waking hours right now, with the exception of when I know I need to drink water and consume food and take my dogs out, I've been obsessively consuming content related to this election and the state of our country.
I do think it's an interesting time to hyperfixate on politics in the election after it doesn't really count anymore for the foreseeable future. Like, this is your country that you live in, and you're hyperfixating on it like the day of the election, when you had months to hyperfixate on it and think about it and try to do something about it. But you do it now when it's like too late. I don't know. It's just a very strange topic of conversation to put online right now.
I've never felt as though my TikTok shop videos and my dating updates and my day in the life vlogs, I've never in my life felt like that type of content was more trivial than I do right now.
So hold on to that. She thinks her dating content and her TikTok shop content is very trivial right now. Hold on to that. No one forced her to film this video, okay, by the way. She's choosing to say this.
And I've also never felt more of a desire to not post that kind of content and to instead
desire to not post that content and instead talk about politics.
Focus on the reality of the country that I'm currently living in. And the fact of the matter is, my brain is spinning with ideas and plans to use my platform for educational purposes. I've decided that I'm for sure going to start doing a Molly Gets Political series on here, where I share resources, organizations I'm getting involved with, ways I'm advocating.
Cool. Okay. Someone said, before you buy many Plan Bs, I highly recommend doing the education part on abortion laws. You've not lost any rights as a woman. Girl, stop. You don't post a single political video prior to the vote. Just say that a man ghosted you after your date, like everyone said, and move along. What a privilege to be passionate now. I think you'll be fine, mama. So then we have just a few more, Molly Gets Politicals. Someone said, girl, stop. You did not post a single political video prior to the vote. Just say that a man ghosted you after blah, blah.
You are correct. You are absolutely correct. I have never up until now posted a political video, and that will now be permanently changing. That is correct. That is correct. I don't really know how else to elaborate. This is the most passionate I've ever felt about politics in my life. And I am physically incapable, it feels. Like this feeling inside me is so strong that I feel physically incapable of posting about anything else right now. And I'm not saying that I won't ever go back to other content. I don't know, because I have no desire to date men right now at all. Maybe when I start exploring dating again, it'll be exclusively with women, and then I'll post about that journey, which I think could be really positive for me. But as of right now, the last thing I feel like doing at all is giving attention to...
So these videos are actually getting a lot of views, but not a lot of likes. And that's when you know on TikTok, people are just curious, but they're just watching you crash and burn, but not actually liking the content that you're posting. Anyway, so obviously that happened. And then we have this video that she posted. POV, your soul needs a little Christmas spirit.
Right now, but I got a Christmas... The world might not feel too bright right now, but I got a Christmas tree in the mail from TikTok shop. I think my soul needs it.
Okay, so she puts up a Christmas tree, and guess what? It says, commission paid. Did you not just say that you have zero desire to do dating videos or TikTok shop videos, and that they seem very trivial right now, and that all you're focusing on is politics? This was on the 9th of November, and the original video about politics was on the 8th of November. So it lasted for one day. One day of you hyper-focusing on politics and not having the desire to go on dates, film dating content, or TikTok content. It is so interesting. So very interesting. And then she posted this straight after.
Do you want to know something that's funny? And by funny, I mean not funny at all. I got in a car accident yesterday. And it's definitely the worst car accident I've ever gotten in my life. Obviously, I'm okay. I'm here, and my brother, thank God, and everyone involved in it is okay. What happened was we were at a stop sign.
So she just goes straight into a different story time. And people in the comments are saying, oh, Molly, I'm exhausted. Me and someone asked why I was late. Do you practice first, or does it all flow out naturally? Do we do journals anymore? I'm tired, Molly. So let's listen to this, because clearly we're in for an adventure.
We were at a stoplight. And a person fully ran into us, like probably going 30 miles per hour, ran into us from behind. And the reason I say it was the worst one I've ever been in is because I've had my fair share of like some accidents here and there, but this was the first one where like all of a sudden we're at this stop sign, right? And like then I notice that we're forward, like we're in front of the stoplight, and I instantly have a headache and my whole back is hurting. And I was like, what just happened? And then that's when it all came to me that we just got hit. And so my brother's like complete right side of his bumper had to be taken off, like, and we afterwards went to immediate care, and I wasn't diagnosed with a concussion or anything, but with the like assessments that the doctor did, it came out that I probably just have whiplash, and that led to like back spasms and stuff, like muscle spasms. And so
I'm not laughing at her, I'm just laughing, but I'm not laughing at her. a car accident is never good. I'm just giggling and gaggling to myself.
She just said, take some ibuprofen. The doctor did tell me that the next day I was probably going to feel worse, and she's totally right. Like, today my back is definitely hurting more than it did yesterday. And even my brother, like, he didn't feel any pain initially when it happened, but, like, by the time we got to the doctors, he was feeling pain in his back. And yesterday I was on the phone with one of my best friends. We were on the phone for like an hour talking about the state of our country and all these things. And my best friend is also a therapist, and so obviously she had a really rough week. And so we were discussing all of this for a full hour. And then I tell her, oh, by the way, I got in a car accident today. And I'm like, it's just so crazy to me how, like, we had that whole conversation, and it just occurred to me again that I had this car accident. I'm just like, oh God, add it to the list, you know, add it to the list of things going on right now. Add it to the list, add it to the list. And you know what, to everyone who loves to criticize me for wearing the same clothes every single day, like, what about it? What about it? Yeah, I'm wearing the same t-shirt, it's dirty. I've been wearing it for—
I'm getting whiplash from this conversation. It went from, like, car accident to then I was talking to my therapist, my therapist friend, about the election, and then told her I got into an accident. Also, to anyone that, and it is just such a, like, roller coaster of emotions.
Like, pretty much a week at this point, the same shirt. Not outside. When I go outside, guys, I put different clothes on. And I have showered this week, once. But can you smell me through the phone? Can you smell me? I really, like, it's just so funny to me. I don't care. I don't care if I'm wearing the same t-shirt in my house for just my cat and my dogs to smell. I don't care. And I'll post TikTok videos where I'm wearing the same shirt for a week. I don't care. I really don't care. Mont.
Okay, so you guys understand her style of content now. Molly Gets Political, knowledge is power.
All right, so this week's theme for Molly Gets Political.
This week's theme is just so, I don't know.
That knowledge is power, okay? No matter what anyone takes away from you, no one can ever take away. First thing, I'm going to put my cameos at a discount for the next, let's do it for the rest of the week. For the rest of the week, so from now until Friday, all my cameos will be 50% off, so $10. And if you purchase a cameo from me, I'm going to donate all of the money that I make from it to Burning Books Buffalo. For those that aren't familiar, Burning Books is a bookstore that specializes in exclusively social justice related texts. And
I understand the concept of putting your cameo on discount, but then, like, putting it on discount, but you want to donate the money, so then, like, you could have just kept it full price and just donated the full amount, but I don't judge. Thank God the first episode of this Getting Political thing is an ad for your cameos of all things, because obviously it's only for now that she's donating money. Obviously after that she'll just keep the money. The pivot is hilarious. Oh, Molly. This is awkward. I'm way too early. Thank God you put the cameos at a discount. That was really the concern right now.
Okay, this is a valid point. If anyone is interested in donating to Burning Books Buffalo's expansion project, I've put their GoFundMe as the first link in my bio. For context, the reason I did this was not to be selfish. Actually, it was for me to use a resource that has been really successful for me in the past in order to benefit this local organization in Buffalo. So actually, I've done over 100 cameos and made a decent amount of money from it. And I remember when I did the 50% off for Halloween promo, I got flooded with cameo requests. And so when I saw how successful that was, I thought, ooh, why not do that same thing, but instead do it to donate to this organization.
Someone said she reminds me of Gabby Hanna. Oh, that's a name I shouldn't say, because that's going to start a whole avalanche of things. But I agree, kind of. Like, nothing she says is really that problematic, but a lot of it's just very, like, all over the place. I guess that's what people wanted me to talk about her. Keep it up, Molly. Like, a lot of people are down with this. Some people just think it's really interesting timing.
The theme for Molly Gets Political this week is knowledge is power. And what's one of the best ways we can acquire new knowledge? Read books. What's the most accessible place we can find new books to read? You guessed it, people. The library. I'm headed to the library. The topics.
Is this going to turn into a Gabby Hanna timeline? I don't know if you guys remember the time where, like, Gabby Hanna went off the deep end and posted, like, 100 TikToks a day of literally just going, like, wild. Yeah, people just don't want the same for Molly, and it seems like she's going down a very specific path. I'm just picturing her writing this stuff down on a little list, like, yes, this is it. Molly Gets Political this week. Please can you go on more dates? As I mentioned, I'm not interested in dating at the moment. Yeah, so that's Molly herself. A lot happens with Molly. I think she's ultimately quite harmless, but also quite harmful at the same time. Like, I was saying that she's harmless, and then I remembered the Halloween thing that she did, and that wasn't very harmless, but she just seems like someone who's just very interesting. I had a lot of thoughts come to my head, and I'm just going to end it on she's very interesting. But you guys let me know what you think, because I'm so conflicted about her, so I just want to know what you guys think. Subscribe, hit the bell, like, comment, engagement. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.